Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I must admit, I am completely and utterly humbled and overwhelmed to be in this room with you all. It's very hard to be in a room with so many heroes, heroines. I'm so stressed I even took off my bra, which is... I wish I could... I wish I could say it was an act of defiance, but it was actually an act of panic. My mother-in-law used to do it whenever she got bored or a little bit stressed on a Sunday afternoon, and yeah, here I am. With this asking to talk about, give a toast to things that are important or things that inspire me. We started the evening with Jessica Sibley saying that she was a woman in control of Time. She didn't say Time magazine, she said she's a woman in control of time, which I find incredibly inspiring, because as each passing day goes by, as one gets older and older and older, you feel you're less in control. And I think as women, we often feel that we really do need to be in control of everything. And often we need to be in control of things individually. And what I've really, really, really has rung home for me tonight is the only way forward is to try and let go of control. Peter Brook has this wonderful expression that you hold on tight, as a theatre director, you hold on tightly and you let go lightly. And you let go lightly knowing that the generations behind you are going to pick that up. That we, as women, I think we have dog whistle ears, that we are attuned to things that are unsaid. And so part of the toast that I would like to make is not only to the people in this room right now, but to millions and millions of women who should be standing in this mic, who should be in this room. And I just wanted to say that I am in awe of not only what the nominees tonight have done and continue to do, but all the women in the room, because achievement is not just big and loud, it's small and quiet. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot of talk in the world. And I think at the moment, in this particular moment, I'm 53 years old, it's all relative, but that I feel I want to focus more on doing and on listening. And then when people ask me as an actor, what is your biggest skill set? And it's a quality of listening. And I think that with all tonight's honorees, there is a profound, they've got their ear to the ground and they're hearing those mitochondrial connective tissues that we might be geographically apart, we might be racially, culturally apart, our language groups might be different, we might be generationally apart, our gender assignment might be different. But if we really listen to the things that are not being said, I think we're going to get somewhere really profound. And I wanted to really applaud everyone in this room because I think that you work under immense pressure and under immense scrutiny. And I actually bumped into an acquaintance today who said she'd spent 5 days with her mother and her aunt. And she did say it like that. It was 5 days, and I said, how was it? And she went, it was good. It was a lot. And then she said, but you know what? It was pressured, but pressure produces diamonds. And I think this room is full of diamonds. And I just want to raise a toast to all of your brilliance. You inspire me deeply. Your different generations, locations, and and your specific focuses. But somehow, actress though I may be, and that's often a pejorative term, maybe I'm an actor. I want to be an actor because an actor is active. That I feel connected to you. And I feel that in a way, my job, it can sound a bit wet sometimes, but my job really is as a storyteller. And to be a good storyteller, you really need to listen to the stories that are not being told. And all your stories are so important, and the people that you in your communities that you bring up and you elevate their stories. You use your platforms to have those stories heard. And my hot date tonight, Mary Maker, who is a Goodwill ambassador just this week, you know, her story, I was just talking about with Mary when I'm on the way here, that I've been reading a book by a wonderful writer, Rebecca Solnit, and she wrote this book talking about hope. Aisha talked about hope, and I think that's really important. It's called Hope in the Dark, and it was written in 2004, I think it was. But I think what she says is it's still really relevant, because it talks about how it's the greatest act of courage is to be hopeful, and that often we forget the achievements that we have already made. I mean, Rita Moreno's in the room, for goodness sake. Talk about an achiever. And that we can give into, and I know I do on a daily basis, believe me, I just spent the last 2 days at Disneyland with my 8-year-old. I was in the midst of despair. That's why the bra's off. You know, that we forget that we stand on the shoulders of the women before us, and we have a responsibility to work on our shoulders, not just our individual shoulders, but our collective shoulders, so that more women can stand on our shoulders in generations to come. You know, and I do think that a lot, you know, with my 8-year-old. And the wonderful thing that Rebecca Solnit writes about is she says that it's really important, and she said this back in 2004, and as I said, I think it's still really relative, is that even though we live in a world of deep, deep uncertainty, that can breed a pessimism that has a misguided certainty of what will happen next. And the truth is, we do not know what will happen next. We do not know what is going to happen next. And in this state of not knowing, and I know this as an actor, the minute before you go on stage, even though you know your lines, you know what costume you're meant to be wearing, and hopefully you're not wearing it backwards. You're stepping on, but you still don't know exactly what's going to happen. That is a fearful moment, but I always choose to turn that fear into excitement. And I know that I'm working with an ensemble of actors, and we here are an amazing active ensemble of women and men who support women, and men who understand that women acting powerfully across many, many different spheres behooves all of us, because it allows us to think more imaginatively, and it allows us to imagine a different, more inclusive future. And so I think that there's an enormous possibility in this seemingly fearful space. And I think that that allows us to think of different solutions. And when I look around this room, as terrifying, you know, I think often the language of change is very fearful, and it makes people very angry, which is obviously a result of fear as well. And anger is an important transitional tool, don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot to be angry, you know, about. But you know, it can feel like change is a long way away. And tonight, listening to everyone speak and listening to everyone listen, I think change is in this room. And I think change is alive, and it's afoot, and it is kicking that foot in rooms like this around the world. They may not have as nice wallpaper as this one, but it is happening. It is happening, because one thing women are good at is gathering. We have profound, deep songlines. We know how to listen. We know when to lean in. Whoever said that in the 90s. We know, but we know when to step back. We know when to step back, and we know when to listen. And that is my kind of resolution, is I really want to listen. And thank you. I feel so privileged to be here tonight. Thank you to Time for allowing me to listen tonight. Thank you.